Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen already by the title, we will be discussing a very exciting arc that I have just read. So this arc is called Little Dead Lies by Holly Ann. I'll pop a little picture up there for you. So I will also link her Instagram in the description below because she has a form up on her Instagram where you can request an arc. The request form ends on the 28th of August, so do go check that out before it ends. But yeah, just thought I'd come on here because NetGalley has provided me this arc and I have read it early and I am absolutely utterly speechless. I have literally just finished the arc. I think it was literally like half an hour ago and I have to come on here and share my views because I'm speechless. So let me give you the premise so far. So Little Dead Lies basically involves a guy called Felix and a self-investigator called Sterling. So it's basically revolving around Ripper cases. So it's sort of like a Jack the Ripper type of retelling, if you will, but gay. Could it get any better? So Felix is a very traumatized man who basically works in the morgues and deals with dead bodies and dissects them and things like that. And then Sterling is a younger boy who's, I think, early 20s, who's traumatized in his own way by his father, who's basically an alcoholic. He's pretty messed up, and they meet. So Sterling is on the hunt for the Ripper man because there are all these Ripper cases going around, and he really wants to work out who they are, what's going on for his own podcast. He tries to get involved with the police so he can basically help with them, but the police are like, no, you're not helping because he's the son of a politician, things like that. And things get pretty messy, and he basically suspects Felix as someone who is involved or is the Ripper guy. And eventually they, work together. Obviously suspicions are still arising, and they slowly grow more fond of each other, which is obviously the queer aspect. So I will start off by saying that I gave this book a solid 5 stars. Absolutely up my alley, exactly what I enjoy. I think it was beautiful and also quite disturbing, but I love that in the weirdest way possible. At the very, very beginning, I instantly was gripped. Literally instantly, first page, utterly gripped. I think that the beginning was really, really strong, and it grips you immediately. The chemistry between Felix and Sterling was there from the beginning, which is very rare for romance books. I think that they worked really well together, and I think that their personalities were very different, but in the way that, if you will, doomed BL usually is, and it works so well. The only thing that I think I wasn't too keen on at the very beginning with their relationship was how often Felix would use pet names towards Sterling. Very, very beginning. I think that it was maybe a little bit too forward, but then getting to know Felix's character a bit more, it made sense and it didn't feel too much because it just felt like Felix. I'll stick with the characters at the moment. Their depth and their character building throughout this story was utterly incredible. I think that each character had so much to them. They had so much history, they had so much personality, and both of them were so unique in their own ways. I think that it was absolutely beautiful. I loved both characters, and I loved them so much that with the history that we did get sort of dribbled into the book, I want 2 separate books now, one on Felix and one on Sterling's history, because I am so intrigued as to what was going on in their past. Like, their past sounds so interesting and really, really thought out. I think that the character design, I've literally got chills on my body right now. I don't know if you can see. My hairs are standing up on my arm. Honestly. So good. I really want 2 separate books now on both of their past and how they got to where they were at the beginning of the book. I would literally eat that up so much. I think that they were just so realistic and so believable, and kind of sad when you think about what trauma they'd been through and how that made them who they were. I I think they were so realistic and created so well. Okay, I'm going to move on to the writing aspect now and how the story was portrayed and laid out. Basically, the prose. In general, this is the first book that I have read from Holly Ann. I think she's only ever written 3 books, 2 that have actually been published, and this one that's coming out in November, if I'm correct. Her writing from this one book specifically that I have just read is utterly amazing. Obviously, I think personally, if you think about it from like a really professional point of view, like massive authors, the writing I think needs to be a little stronger. There's a few sentences that I came across which were a little bit clunky and hard to read, but I think that if you're taking it from a professional point of view, only it would only matter from that perspective. But from someone who doesn't really mind, and I think that the storytelling was so good that I think at the end of the day, as long as you have fun, you know what's going on, and you enjoy it, I don't think it matters too much, especially if you're a new sort of writer. Just a little bit of like positive criticism as to maybe rechecking some of the writing as well. I did notice, I think it was only like 3 spelling mistakes, which weren't massive. And obviously, yeah, the clunkiness of some of the writing. But I think other than that, the writing was so smooth in the sense of, okay, no, let me rephrase that. Her storytelling was so smooth that the plot ran in such a smooth pace. I know I'm saying smooth a lot. So when you were reading and certain things would pop up and you would be like, what's that about? You know, it would be answered so smoothly, like further down the line. I don't know how to explain this. I just think the plot ran really nicely and it felt really chronological. I'm at uni and I'm doing creative and professional writing, so I've written a few little short stories myself. Her writing felt very similar to me, and I really felt like I could relate to her storytelling and how she told the story. It felt really similar to me. I don't know if that's why I enjoyed it so much. So I think that her storytelling was really impactful. And when things started to get a bit more tense and things started to escalate towards the end, I was so invested. Like when I put the book down to like either go to sleep or to get on with my day, I couldn't stop thinking about it and where it was going next and the characters and the progression. It was just in my head all the time. And oh, the one thing I will say is I don't know whether it's intentional, I don't know whether this was inspirational, but this book very, very, very similarly felt like Don't Let the Forest In. I don't know whether that was intentional, whether it was the vibes it just gave off, but it felt like Don't Let the Forest In. Completely different book. Well, sort of. This is not about investigating a crime scene or a murder, but it's just the vibes it gave was so cozy and gothic and dark. Like the book was set in Seattle, I think, somewhere in America, and it felt like cozy England, like a dark, cozy England vibe, which is really strange. And if you guys know me, Don't Let the Forest In is my favorite book of all time. It was a 6-star read, so of course I was going to enjoy this. Overall, this book is so strong in the sense of its storytelling and the character creation and the character depth. Like I said, I want 2 books purely on Sterling and Felix because of how much I love these characters and how much chemistry they had together as well, and their history apart. I think that they were so well created and the storytelling flowed so nicely. Like reading this book felt really satisfying. It was flowing so nicely. Yeah, I would absolutely 100% buy the physical copy when it comes out. I would just love a physical copy. Even if I managed to somehow get the physical arc, I would absolutely love this. I would never stop raving about it because of how amazing this is. I 100% recommend it. Definitely go put those dates down in your calendar. So it comes out in November. Let me just check what day it actually comes out. Okay, so there's no actual specific release date, but the arcs go out on the 5th of October and the arc form closes on the 28th of August. So that is this month. So I'll link her Instagram in the description, so go check that out. If you like anything that I have said today, if you like any of these vibes, if you're into a queer detective story, do go check this out. I promise you it is amazing. Yeah, that's all I can really recommend. I cannot wait for the copy to come out. Yeah, it is just stuck in my head. These characters, I'm never going to forget. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. That would really help me out, and do subscribe as well to see more bookish content. Along with Holly Ann's Instagram in the description, I also have my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Fable. Fable and Goodreads will also have this review if you want to go and check out my written review. It'll all be in the description down below, so go check those out when you are not reading. And yeah, thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye!